Hi guys, welcome to today's episode of Tea and Chats. I'm filming from home because it's lockdown and I have to film in the car because lighting and sound inside the house is not the greatest. There's a lot of echo and there's a lot of noise. And then I'm just trying my best, so please do mind the setup. I'm excited to be back. I'm so excited to be back and filming my second video. The first one I dropped and then I disappeared, and I'm so grateful for the support that I received on that one. The feedback, the views. I didn't expect that, I was like, 5 people gonna watch this and that's gonna be that, but I'm really, really, really grateful. I am sorry for disappearing. I'm here to explain why and hold myself accountable as well. I've been in a very weird place, in a weird funk with myself, and it's in what I'm going to be talking about today is in line with the whole purpose of the channel, of talking about having honest adulting conversations, having vulnerable conversations, having, just being open and saying this is where I'm at and this is what's happening. So if you hear any noise, please do mind, guys. Getting right into it, I'm going to be on my Notes app. So if you see me looking down, I'm on my Notes app. So I'd say the last 3 months of my life have been so weird. No, let me say the last 4 months, including a bit of this month. I dated back to November, but I did fine. I recovered again, and then coming from Jan specifically, things started falling apart in my life. And then there was a lot of imposters. There was a lot of things that happened, and I don't even know where to start with this conversation, but today's one might be tea, tears, and chats. I'm currently in a place where I'm grateful. I'm sitting down and I'm grateful for life, and I'm working on myself. I'm working on life, and I'm working on recovering and working on really stabilizing myself again and understanding myself better once again. So that's where I'm at, and really loving on myself and the not so pretty parts of myself, and the not so nice parts of myself that life has come to show me. So I'm gonna throw it back a bit. Wow, guys, I was recording, then I didn't realize I was talking, it wasn't recording. But so as I was saying, I think this is going to be a bit of a flashback and get to know me a bit, because I need to explain my history to kind of explain where I'm at. When I was in high school, I had a suicide attempt, and then I came out the week of my birthday, and I promised myself to fight and, to never try to take my own life again. Then I started seeing a psychologist. Then I got to university. First year was a bit difficult, but I managed. I coped somehow. God saw me through the year. Second year was shambles. Things started going wrong at home. Like, not wrong, but things started going bad at home. Financially, things started going south. My dad's company took a dip. And all of a sudden life was changing, and it was change that I was never ready for. And I'm at UCT, and that's taking a lot of money, and I started feeling so guilty for being there, and I started feeling like I don't want to be there. And that also played into how I was performing at school, and I started performing really badly. And then I started failing, and failing tests, failing assignments, and just not. I didn't even go to lectures at some point. I was so depressed. I just stayed in my room the whole time. And then my roommate, guys, had to ask me, "Have you eaten today?" Flatmate, bless her soul. And then after that, there was a breakup in that year as well. It was a rough breakup. And it was like, at that point, it was like the relationship was the one positive thing in my life. And when that happened, it then completely shook me. like completely shook me, and I fell apart. I broke apart. I was like, I don't know who I am. Because first year was also a lot of like imposterism from my side, where I was trying to fit in with people, trying to understand who I am. You know, like going to university, you're trying to understand yourself. And when you don't have a good sense of self, it can really knock you to do things that you've never done. And I found myself in weird friendships, weird spaces, and yeah, but all of that was for my growth anyway. So yeah, second year was the year that was like, it was bad. I was more settled in my friendships, but then the other aspects of my life became very, very like horrible. I didn't even want to come home because the stress and the tension here was so bad. This was 2017, and then yeah, the breakup then came, and then at the time I was like, God, bye. I don't understand God. I don't believe in God because of my own personal, fights that I was like, God, how is there God if my people are going through this and this is happening? And so I started questioning God a lot, and I was just like, tap out. I'm not doing this, but God. So end of 2017, I ended up going back to church, ended up really centering myself in God again, ended up like finding myself in prayer and coming to a point of starting to understand myself again. And I started seeing a psychologist again, because I really needed help. I was broken. And I was like, who am I? What am I? What am I doing? Who do I believe I am? And I had started, so one thing I did that really broke me, how I got to the point of brokenness, is that I kept identifying myself with all the failures that I had at school. So I'd fail an assignment and I'd say, you're so stupid. I'd not understand things in class, and I'd be like, how do you not understand that? I'd write notes, and then I'd get anxiety when I have to write my tests or assignments, and I'd give my notes out to my friends or whoever I had asked for my notes, and they'd get like good marks with my notes, and I'd get like, I'd fail. And I just sat there and I couldn't understand. How are you failing? And people are passing with your notes. Like, how are you so stupid that you're not getting these things? These things are supposed to be things that are easy. You went to a good high school that prepared you for some of these things. So I was just in a point where I was not doing well. The situation at home wasn't good. I was not talking well to myself. And I was breaking myself. I was in that constant state. And I was like, I don't believe in God. So I had to go back to church. I had to go back to a point of really working on myself again. And that was end of 2017 going into 2018. 2018 was a beautiful year though. It was a year of self-discovery and revisiting myself and relearning myself and filling myself with all these things of beauty, with all these things of positivity, and saying, this is who you are. It's like I was taking everything. I was like, I'm trying to undo all the beliefs I have about myself. I'm trying to say, who does God say I am, and how do I stand with that? Do I believe it, or is it something that I know but I don't believe? So 2018 was a year of like hectic therapy. Going to my psychologist thoroughly, and then going to church, being in cell groups, like did the most in 2018. And then 2019 came, and I was like, it's time to put everything to the test, because the only way to truly, for me, what I believe is that the only way to truly see that you believe your beliefs, or you're true to your beliefs, is by living them out. And I was like, it's time to put that to a test. So in 2019, what I did is that at the end of 2018, I was like, I'm going to draw myself a vision board. I was listening to all these great teachers, Wayne Dyer, Sadhguru, Oprah Winfrey, reading books, all the, like, Eckhart Tolle, all of them. And I was like, let me do a vision board. I've been hearing everyone saying you need to envision your life and stuff. So I came up with one of these. This was a very general one for my life in J and not necessarily for 2019. There was like one specific thing for 2019, which was the two oceans. And then everything else was very like general. Things that I want for my life, and I just wrote out at the back what everything basically meant on here. And then it happened in 2019. I got into two oceans, and I ran my first 21.2 kilometers, and I ran it in just over the time I wanted. But the point of the story is that I did it, and what I did in 2019 is that I was going back to undo all those things that I had believed about myself. I was like, it's time to test this. You're gonna go back and you're gonna like go test if you really do believe these things. And I was like, you're gonna do the two oceans as a sign of I can commit to something, I can have endurance, and no matter how painful something is or how scary it seems in my eyes, if I commit myself to it and I work out a plan and I stick to it, I can do it. Guys, I trained for 6 months, one man, no running club, the only people holding me accountable were my friends and my partner at the time. And I was just like, I was in that, I was in that place of just do the things that scare you so you can see. I registered an NPO. I raised money for an NPO, a different one, through the Two Oceans race. I did things that I'm scared to ask people for money, and I asked for money. I got rejected so many times with my NPO project, but eventually I did it, and I worked with a group of 400 students. So I did a lot of things in 2019. It was a big year, and I was in this role of I was winning now. I was like, yes, I'm capable, I'm doing these things, I'm capable, it's possible. And then at the end of 2019, things started slowing down. And that's when all hell broke loose. Because I got to a point where I was no longer, these things weren't things of, I started identifying with my wins now. In the sense that I'm now identifying myself according to the fact that I'm a winner, instead of saying I'm able to do all these things. Like, it's possible for me to actually sit down and commit myself, instead of saying these things are showing me what I'm capable of doing. And if I set myself that I have all these capabilities within me, I have all these great beliefs about myself and they're true. Instead of saying that, I was at a point where I'm like, I'm a winner, all I do is win. And if I don't get things my way, I don't understand. So end of 2019 then became a problem with that, way I couldn't raise money for my business. I kept pitching and I kept being kept shut down, or I kept pitching and my pitches wouldn't go well, and it was heavy. I felt like a failure because I had also prayed to be in a space with people who, are going after their dreams and seeing other people succeed. And when you're so used to succeeding and you're not succeeding, I just felt like I felt like a failure. I felt like I'm not doing enough, or I'm not good enough. I started feeling so inadequate. And here I am in the space that I prayed for the year before. But in the very same space, I'm breaking. I'm not able to cope. And I'm like, I'm not worthy of being here. I'm not worthy of all these new people that I've met and are doing so well. And I'm just so unable to just to do such a basic thing as raise money when I've done all these other things. So I couldn't understand what was happening. And then also my academics, my people. So I started being so insecure about so many things, and I started falling back into that loop of insecurity. I started falling back into those things and those places. And that's when life started getting lit, and I just felt like such an imposter, because people were like, this has been such a good year for you, you've been winning, and I'm receiving all this praise, but I'm not believing it. And I'm like, no, that's not who I am. I'm like, thank you to their face, but behind closed doors, I'd be like, no, dude, like, it's not that. So yeah, tears and chats. So yeah, that's where I was at with myself. And then after that, yeah, that happened, and I was like, okay, whatever. I tried, and instead of facing myself and actually sitting down and saying, okay, this is how you're actually feeling, and why are these things, the space that you prayed for, and these people that you prayed to come into your life that have been blessings, why are they now making you feel small and insecure? And instead of sitting down and working through the parts of me that I was being shown, I kept running away from myself. And so basically from January until recently, I was running from myself. I was running from facing that insecurity of, this is how you actually feel. This is what you feel is going on in your life. And these are just, this feeling is showing you something that you have, that you believe about yourself, that you need to work on. And instead of working on the belief and sitting down and say, okay, it's difficult to do this, it's difficult to work on this belief, it backtracked me. It felt like I was going back to when I was in UCT and I was failing. It felt like when I was back, like, failing tests, doing dumb mistakes, and I was just judging myself and I was being mean to myself. It got to the point where in my relationship, I was so rude to my partner. I was a completely different person. I wasn't the person my partner got into a relationship with, I was mean when I didn't get things my way. I wanted to control everything, because one thing I'm learning is that when you don't have control of yourself, or you feel like you don't have control of the things you need to have control over, you want to control everyone else around you. You want to control your environment. You just grasp for anything that you can control. And that's what I was doing. I was like, I want to control my relationship. I want to control how you should act in it. Like, you should be this person. You should just understand me. And if you're not, like, why are we even in a relationship? And even with my friendships, I was mean, and that people, I couldn't even face my friends. I couldn't talk to them. I felt so much shame and so much embarrassment. And, I'd started the YouTube channel, and then I felt like such an imposter, because it's like, who are you to tell people about adulting when you can't handle and manage yourself? Who are you to sit and say, guys, this is what's good, this is what's up? I was scared to even reach out to people and say, I just want to sit down and talk about this. Do you mind coming onto the channel? I got to a point I just felt like such an imposter, and I just kept running from myself. And what I did while I was running away from myself, I went to, it's things that I'm not proud of. But I started going to people who don't deserve to be in my life. People who were previously in my life and who previously hurt me. And from the outside, my life looked grand, right? It's like, okay, you're living in Cape Town, this is happening, you look like you're going to all these events. Because even though I was in the pit, I was still trying to do things to cover up how I actually felt. So I looked like I was busy and I was doing things, but internally I was feeling like there's no progress. And I went to people who don't deserve to be in my life, to be honest, people who've hurt me, because that's where I got praise, and they didn't know the truth. And even though I knew that whatever praise they would be giving me would be on a false sense of self, it felt good in the moment. It felt like it was ego. All I can say was ego, and it just gratified me in that moment to feel like, okay, you're valuable. You have something. So I took that responsibility that I have I took that responsibility that I should have for me, in terms of saying, this is where you stand with yourself. I took the responsibility of affirming myself, and I gave it to other people. I gave it to people who don't know the truth. Because when people who knew the truth talked to me about situations that were happening in my life, I became defensive. I became rude. I didn't want to talk about things. I became elusive. I just avoid conversations. I'd be like, screw. They'd be like, oh, school. And I'm like, screw. I don't want to hear about that. I don't want to go there. Business, like from outside, people are like, oh, business is doing so well, we see. And I'm just like, no, babes, you don't know the back of it. And so things really started falling apart for me this year, internally more than anything. And that really manifested itself to the rest of my life. And then, yeah, that's why I haven't been on YouTube. And then last week, my uncle... Okay, no, before I get to that, so yeah, that's basically what happened, and I've been running away from myself. So I got to a point where I was like, life got to a point where I completely fell apart. Nothing was working out, and I hurt people. I hurt people close to me. I hurt people that I love. And it's things I can never take back. I did things that, I shouldn't have done. And it's like, it's not an excuse, but it's like you were in that place, but I need to hold myself accountable. And unfortunately, the aftermath is painful. Something, it's painful things. There are relationships that will never be recovered from what I did and that period. But the most important thing is that I hurt myself. I really hurt myself. Thinking about how I went back into those places and stuff, I really hurt myself. But I've had to come and be like, it's okay. You did that because it's not that you didn't know better, but yeah, I could say you didn't know better, and it's okay. It's time to learn from it instead of sit and dwell on why you did these things. Instead of judging yourself, compassionately approach yourself and say, sis, you did that. That was painful. I'm sorry. Never do that again in your life, but love yourself through it. And instead of doing that, I've had to come to that place where I had to actually sit, and life threw me in a corner and it made me naked. And it was like, you have nowhere to run. You're naked, and there's sun here, so everyone can see that you're naked. Well, you can see that you're naked, and there's nothing to grasp onto anymore, because everything I grasped onto fell apart. And I came back home, and then it was lockdown. And even moving back home, I felt like such a failure. I felt like I was regressing, because I was like, I don't want to move back home. That makes me feel like I should be moving forward. I should be moving out of home. The people around me are moving out of home. My friends are getting jobs, and I'm like, you can't even keep a damn job. You can't even get a job. Like, what's wrong with you? That's how I was talking to myself. And I'm like, people are moving into apartments, people are buying cars, you had all these goals for yourself, and none of them are coming to fruition. And I was the ugliest person to me. So the other thing I learned is that talk nice to yourself, guys. Be kind to yourself. And so I started reading this book, When Things Fall Apart by Pema Chodron, something like that. Yeah. Guys, everyone deserves to read this at least once in their lives. It's an amazing book. I would recommend it. Please, please, please do this for yourself. And then, so things started falling apart. And then last week, it came home. Then last week, my uncle passed away. And, I was expecting to feel some form of heaviness. And, I was expecting to be in this space. I'm like, man, everything is going to shambles. It's Corona. It's lockdown. Your uncle I was expecting to just be in this place of dread, and I was just dreading this whole process. I was dreading this process of working on myself. I was like, when am I going to get to that place when I'm okay? I was rushing it. I'm like, I want to be okay. I just want to skip to 2 months from now. I don't want this period of my life. I want it to be over. And I was like, I don't want to sit here. I don't want to do this. I don't want to do the hard work. And I got to a point where I'm like, let me recreate myself. And in me trying to recreate myself, as good as that sounds, what I was doing is that I was still running away from what I'm being shown by falling apart. Because at the end of the day, I'm being shown lessons of, this is where you're at with yourself. These are insecurities that you still have. Work on them, improve them, fail forward, fail fast, fail forward, work on yourself. It's hard work. It's not nice. It's not pretty. But you need to love yourself more than anything. And that's what the book is teaching me as well. And I didn't want to do that. I was just like, I'm drawing my vision board. I want to be the greatest person. I want to get out of here. Like, let me manifest this fast. And I was being impatient with the process. I'm trying to rush it. And then my uncle passed away. And how he passed away is what brought a new sense of understanding of life, a new sense of understanding of this whole thing that I'm going through. Wow, guys, this is a very long video. And I wrote this. So on the day that my uncle passed away, in the morning, he was ill. And then in the morning, he said goodbye to us. He was like, today's the day, today's the day I will no longer be here, like, as a human body. I'll no longer be present. And everyone around him was like, we all wanted him to stay. We're like, no, you're crazy. You can't, And on that day, he was saying bye to us. We were with him on the day, and he was, and we were like, no, we want you to stay. And we're talking, and we're like, nah, you're going to live. You're going to be fine. But he had made up his mind, and that process of him making up his mind that today's the day just really showed me how life is really how life is yours, how life belongs to you. And him passing on that day cemented it really in a very renewing way, that your life is your own. It's yours to own. It's yours to live. No one else can live it for you. No matter who's working this journey with you, no matter the people around you, this is your life alone. Only you know how you're feeling. Only you go through the things that you're truly going through. And then I wrote this reflection piece after the burial and everything. It was just, I got into that point. I'm just like, I need to stop rushing life and really take the day as it is and enjoy it, and really take it day by day, and get to this point of peace every single day. And this is what I wrote. Life is yours to live. This life is yours alone. This is yours and your Creator's journey to share, to explore and enjoy. It's yours to be curious and expand, to tap inside yourself, find the tenderness, connect and expand it into the world. Remember, you're a seed planted to embrace what's in you. You already have it all within you, and it's yours to expand your abundance, and this journey is yours to feel deeply and live it proudly, to feel things as they are, to feel the ebbs and flows, but remain grounded that it's in you. You might get distracted, but remember it's in you. It's yours to transform from the seed and blossom into whatever you choose to be. So feed yourself with the nutrients that nourish and color you. Live on the edge and break out of every layer until your season is over. Live and live it large. Live and live it full. Live and live it beautiful. It's yours alone to live, yours alone to express. So choose to live it every day, at every moment, and share it with those you are planted with. This life is yours. Choose it over and over again. The journey belongs to you. So yeah, I think my uncle passing really gave me a new sense of how I'm choosing to live my life every day. So I'm at a place I'm peaceful with everything, and I'm just sitting. When the pain comes, I sit with it. Like, I'm just like, it's painful and there's nothing wrong with that. It's just pain. It's going to go and life is going to continue. But it's yours to live. While you have it, it's yours to live. It's yours to express. And every single day, it's for you to just live it. Feel it. Feel the lows, feel the highs, but live it. Like, don't come to the end of the day and feel like I didn't live my life. So yeah, guys, it's been a heavy 3 months, and I don't know what the future looks like, but I'm okay. I'm at a point of peace and at a point of joy with myself. I'm really joyful. Like, I didn't think death would make me so happy, and would make me so joyful, and what would make me want to live my life again. But yeah, guys, yeah, so I'm no longer rushing myself. I'm just like, take it as it comes. You will see the process and how that goes. But thank you for joining me today. Yeah, I'm sorry for the long, it's a long story. If you stuck with me till the end, I'm very, 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 very grateful. And guys, be kind to yourself. You're all that you have. Live your life fully. enjoy it. You're not your failures, you're not your wins, you are you. Just be and enjoy yourself being. You know, you are the abundance that is within you. You know, Jesus said, I have left myself in you, and you have Jesus in you. So all that power, all that greatness is in you. So live that, feel that, know that, believe it. You know, you have it in you. So I'm also talking to myself right now. So yeah, that's just where I'm at right now, and thank you for joining me and sticking through till the end. I love you guys. I appreciate the support, and I will see you on the next video. I promise I will be posting every week. But yeah, it's been good to be back. I will see you guys again next week. Bye.